When the world was asleep, there are things that we cannot but can keep it the same. Who cares if one more light goes out in the sky of a million stars? Who cares if someone's
I feel like I learned something. There's one on YouTube. I'm pretty sure that must be me.
The reminders on the floor from your feet. In the kitchen, one more chair than you need. And you're angry, and you should be. It's not fair. Just 'cause you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't there. Who cares if one more light goes out in the sky of a million stars? Who cares when someone's time runs out if the moment is all we are? Who cares if one more light goes out? When light goes out,
Welcome back to the stage, Bob Gabriel.
Good morning and welcome back. And thank you for walking through the night for suicide prevention. You did it. First off, I just want to thank Mezzo for sharing their beautiful voices with us this morning. How inspiring, how beautiful. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you. Well, what you've accomplished is extraordinary and will ensure that people who struggle with their mental health will get the help that they need. And lives will be saved because of you. And I just want to tell you, it's just unbelievable what you've done. I can't thank you enough for being involved in our cause, for being part of the overnight, and for raising funds. And at the opening, I said you had raised $2.7 million. That has jumped up to $2.85 million. You know, throughout the night, You were there for each other, listening, supporting, empowering each other, and helping each other through challenging moments, both physically and emotionally. You lifted up walkers who are struggling with depression or anxiety, PTSD, addictions, and other mental health conditions. And you were there for those with lived experience of being suicidal. And you embraced walkers who've lost family members and friends to suicide. You were there for each other all night long. Please continue to be there for each other when you leave today. Be there for each other. We are a community. And we're powerful because of our stories and sharing those stories. The stories allow us to see this issue in a whole new light. And I'd like to introduce to you now one of your fellow walkers who's here to share her story. Please welcome Carrie Meixell.
Thank you. So great to see everybody here. Thank you for walking through the night with me. It's always powerful. I used to feel the deck was stacked against me, that I was part of a cycle I had no power to change. My family history is filled with depression, anxiety, and mental illness. How could I compete with that? My father, Carl, struggled with mental illness all his life, but rarely talked about it. He worked in the military for 20 years and was terrified about the stigma. So he put on his brave face and only got very limited help. He died by suicide in 1999. My father was only 47 years old. And then the cycle continued. I began struggling with depression as a teenager. Occasionally I would seek help, but I'd never stay with it. Just like my father, I was worried about the stigma. I got older, I started a family. Again, I would seek out help and then stop, ashamed, afraid of how I would be perceived, convinced that I should be able to fix this on my own. So the cycle continued. And in December of 2012, I attempted to take my own life. Thank God I lived. I knew that. Thank God I'm still here. I was hospitalized and discharged into an intensive outpatient program in Washington State, which is where I began the slow, hard work of getting better. I know that different people need different things. For some, it's medication. For me, it's diet, exercise, and spirituality. But for everyone, it's people. Everyone needs people. I remember my first overnight in Seattle, 2014. I didn't know anybody there, but I knew I was surrounded by people who really get it, and I could feel the weight of the stigma lifting. We always talk about bringing suicide out of the darkness and into the light. That overnight was the first time in a very long time I felt light in my life because I found the AFSP community. I found my people. Everyone needs people, even if it's just someone you could talk to on your bad days. And I still have bad days. But even with those bad days, I'm glad I'm still here. Because my 13-year-old son, Jaden, was hospitalized 3 times during the pandemic for threatening suicide. I didn't realize it at the time, but there's a reason I lived. It's so that I could break the cycle for my son, so I could sit by his side in the hospital and tell him what my father could never tell me. I've been there. I know it's hard, but needing someone is not shameful. Getting help is not shameful. Talking helps. People help. Together we have power. Together we have hope. Together we can break the cycle. Thank you. thank you from the deepest part of my heart for walking through the night, every single one of you. Thank you for letting me share my story, and people.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you for sharing your story, walking through the night. Thank you for your courage. And thank you for helping others as they struggle and get through that struggle. Thank you. Please know how grateful I am to all of you for being involved in this incredible journey. Your hard work will help us continue to ensure that suicide prevention is a national priority, and it will fuel the research, the education, the advocacy that we need, and the support that we need for each other. Because of you, we will continue to do everything we can to reduce the suicide rate in our country and save thousands and thousands of lives. In the days and the weeks and the months ahead, I hope you'll think back on this experience of walking overnight and draw strength from it. And I hope you'll consider walking again overnight with us, or join us at one of our many community walks that'll take place across the country this fall. And in the days and weeks and months ahead, if you're having a difficult time, please remember that our community is there for you, that we are there for each other, and for so many others who aren't with us, but who need our support. By walking, we are coming together and lighting the way to bring hope to those who struggle and to their families and their friends. Together, we are lifting up those who are grieving the loss of a loved one. And together, we're paving the way for a future where no one dies by suicide. Soon, the New York City will be vibrantly going again, waking up, people coming out, traffic, people enjoying the city. And as the city wakes to a new day, and as the sun rises, we will put away our beads and extinguish the luminaria. But I promise you, we will never, never extinguish the light we've created. The light of 1,000 stories of hope and of healing. The light that is bringing suicide out of the darkness. Thank you for walking. Thank you for crewing. Thank you for volunteering. Thank you for donating. Thank you for being with us. And most of all, thank you for saving lives and bringing hope to those affected by suicide. Thank you, and have a safe journey home. Thank you.
And the world will live as one.
Thank you, everyone. Have a safe trip home, and we'll see you again very soon.